Well, I'm sure most of you guys that are coming to this video right now, obviously you see the title. Um, if I turn around, you might notice a familiar person, but normally this person would not be in your game. If you guys know anything about, the pre-war and all that kind of stuff. So, okay. But this mod isn't really necessarily for people that kind of already know about it. It's more for people that the purpose of my channel. I just kind of help people to that haven't really got around to using most mods, or maybe they've only played the game a little bit, but maybe they want to try a few things. Okay, is she worth having? Well, it depends. I don't want to spoil anything about the game if you haven't seen all the game yourself. But I would say there's some benefits to having Nora with you, but also some negatives as well, because there's a good point about it, and there's a little bit of a downside, as you guys may know. The positive is, she is fully voiced, and she does offer some interesting dialogue choices and that sort of thing. Um, and things like that. But in terms of gameplay, though, if you pay attention enough, and now this is just necessary for people that are beginners, even people that have played the game and at least have tried this mod, actually will kind of most likely agree with me that while it is nice that you can kind of have her as a companion, and I don't know, it's pretty unique at the same time. It doesn't quite, but at the same time, it doesn't quite fit with how the story sort of plays out. Now, can you play Nora? No, unfortunately, there is no. Maybe there was. I don't know if there was a male version where Nate dies and Nora somehow lives and you get to play as her. I haven't seen anything like that, but this is the one where with Nora. It's called the Nora whip. If you go to look up the mods, if you go into mods, this is basically what it looks like. See if I can pull the load screen up real quick so you guys get an idea of what it is. Okay, it's called Nora Companion Whip. Okay. And, I don't know. It's some person made it and things like that. It's a fully voiced person. Now, there is a little bit of a catch to it. Some people have said that it doesn't always work the way that it does. Well, here's a catch for it. If you see my load order right here, other than the body mods that I have at the top, you basically want to put Nora's companion above everyone's best friend. So if you want to try this is the way you do it. Can you do this with alternate start? I haven't tried it, but I would avoid that. I think they do mention that. I'm not sure if the modder, it says, okay, known issues. If you activate the mod, then pick up dog meat and another companion, then deactivate the mod. You will retain both followers until you pick up the next companion. At that point, you will. That's not really what I want to know. I already know about dog meat, so I'm not, see live and well, this person here is saying that they don't think Dogbeat was a true companion according to companion system. Well, maybe but Bethesda might have thought about that at one point. But you guys know every developer makes last minute changes kind of thing, right? So if they were gonna keep it in, they would have left it in. So the canon way, no. In the end, dog meat is technically counted as a companion, even though it is a dog. Yes, I know. That's why somebody used this as a mod. It's not really even a mod at all. It's basically a cut content that basically Bethesda sort of threw out. Somebody just basically just grabbed it and just kind of threw everyone's best friend in, and that's kind of what they called it. But yes, I don't know. it for some reason I don't know why. Now I don't know why the Nora companion whip would conflict with everyone's best friend, but considering that you have to figure Nora is the way that the modder did it, they are counted as a companion. So it's kind of like almost like Heather Cas, maybe not quite like Heather Casden a little bit. Heather could actually travel with you because she's not actually counted. She's like dog. She kind of fits along with Dogbeat a little bit, but Nora, uh, this is a companion. So they're basically telling you that she is a companion. So yeah. So those of you that kind of wonder, I'm not saying you can't do it with alternate start or anything like that, any other stuff, but I would be careful with those things because I'm not exactly 100% sure on those. So if you want to give it a shot, you can, but I would ask somebody else or get some tips or pro tips out there from somebody that may actually know about it because I couldn't tell you. I definitely wouldn't want to give somebody the wrong information. That somebody goes and downloads something, a bunch of things. Next thing you know, their bot that something is conflicting with their thing and something's not working right. But that's the thing about any mods, right? When it comes to any mods, they're all like that. Any mod could go wrong. But that's why it's always important to do some type of research out there and make sure that people have the right things. But normally on its own, I would say from a standpoint of a companion, she's fine. She's solid. She pretty much is like basically you. Basically, it's like having a second you just following you everywhere. That's basically what it is. The nice thing about her is it does give you a little extra backup. So in case things get a little bit hairy, she's right there and she can pretty much carry pretty much everything you ask her to. And that's pretty much it. Normally she comes with her default hair, but I decided to give her the hair that you see in the flashback. For some reason, the Nora in the flashback's hair looks a little different than the in-game model, which you see at the beginning normally. So I just kind of decided to give her like that, and kind of kept it closer to the default so that people didn't get confused because you can customize her. Yes, you can change her look just like anything else. Like if you change her, you can make her black, Asian. Doesn't really make a difference. That would be the Nora that you find in the game. I would say if you're going to play with this though, if I gave some tips, I would highly recommend that you stay closer to her default looks. That way, if you decide to play this sort of thing to see what it's like, if you designed her a certain way, forgot what you made, it's not hard to find her. You just have to go to Abernathy Farm. Abernathy Farm, I will show you so that way you don't really get lost and figure out what's what, you know. Well, now most people do usually show like how to, show the dialogue and conversation and things like that. I don't want to do that in case people want to see it if they haven't seen the whip yet or what all she says. I already did all that stuff, so unfortunately, I won't be able to have those same conversations with her. But over here, just across from the Red Rocket, is Abernathy Farm, and she's usually right over in this area. As you get closer, you'll know because as soon as you get to Sanctuary, she'll be right over in this particular area right in here, usually. Get a little stuck there, huh, Nora? Now, can you romance her? She does have an affinity thing. I would imagine she'd be part of it. But yeah, you can. But this is where I say that while it's nice to have this, there are a few setbacks, as I mentioned, that as you play through the story, there are some dialogue things that she says that's pretty interesting that makes it, uh, interesting for the long haul. When you get to some of the more major plots in the game, though, you will find that it doesn't quite seem to fit. Especially those of you that know about what happens in the vault, what happens down there. Okay, even when you go to meet up with Nora, her explanation as to what happened, and okay, it's not quite as laid out the way that you would think. It's like, okay, because if you go in, okay, there is a, let me see it, see if I can find it. Nora's journal. After you meet her, this is what I want to say though. After you first meet her the first time, after you talk to her, and everything is all done. The next thing you need to do, you definitely need to come over and read this journal. That will update everything else about her. I've already read this entire thing. I don't have to go into it. But, in a nutshell, if you read it, she basically kind of goes over just different things of what happened. And she's been with Abernathy Farm. These people, they kind of made it there. And, the story that they kind of ran with, I don't know, they came up with for her background, for this backstory, is that she wasn't actually dead. Well, she could have died, but it was in the shoulder. I'm sorry, but somebody with a 357, whatever gun he had, 40, that big gun he carries, there's no way I could see somebody missing point blank range that close. You would have to be a really you would have to either be blind, or I don't know, somebody hits your arm. Maybe that would be the only way that I could see a bullet going somewhere, not aiming, at the person, they're hitting at, right? So yeah, that's the only thing. Now, it's not just that beginning part, but it's also just the way that the people you meet along the way as well, though. There are companions in this game. There are other people, as I say. And even though they changed some of the dialogue around to make it appear as, okay, she's with them, and she does give dialogue, but a lot of the dialogue that they use for Nora is just kind of repeated lines that she would say sometimes on her own when you play as her. So there's a couple different things there that you have to take in consideration. But there are some differences. There are some things that are different here or there, and that's why I would say if you want to check out this mod, go ahead, because there are some lines that they use that Bethesda didn't really. That's the thing about voice lines when it comes to any kind of game. You guys know there's always extra dialogue that, I don't know. By the time a game finally comes out, there's probably, a handful of dialogue out there that they probably felt just didn't fit the game in the end. But that's where modders come up with, different ideas, and then they take different things and just kind of add them, But in the end, that's what they decided, It's the tale of the sole survivor. Your character literally is embedded as the sole survivor. So whether you play as Nora or you play as Nate, that is who your character are. It's like, just like Fallout New Vegas, I can't imagine if somebody took that game and just decided, you know what, okay, what we saw at the beginning, you literally, you had a couple people surrounding you and literally shot you and basically almost took you out. You basically could have died, right? You brought back. Now imagine if a scenario was in a different way and I don't know. And somehow that scene just played different and they came out. It's like, I don't remember all this. Who's those people? There's no way that you could ever change. There's no way you could alter the way that the beginning of New Vegas starts out. Even Fallout 3 with the dad, how could you forget a guy, just you basically at one point, okay, oh, I forget the girl's name that basically comes rushing in to wake you up, right? I don't know. It tells you that your father basically escaped out of the vault, and then you have no idea. Your character has no idea what's going on in the vault. But each of them, all three games, you have to figure each three games all have a distinct character trait. Like in Fallout 3, you were known as the Lone Wanderer, I think his name was. You guys could tell me if I'm a little off on that one. But the two most known are the Courier and the Sole Survivor. big, obviously, because Fallout 4 is more up to date and New Vegas is the most popular in the series. So you have to figure from that perspective. Now, that said, like I said, it's not a bad thing or anything like that. I actually enjoy it quite a bit, things like that. But it depends on what kind of playthrough I'm going through. The only reason I'm doing it right now is because I'm just kind of doing a simple kind of thing, and I can care less about, any of the doing the faction stuff. I played this game many times, without her. I haven't played this game in like, I don't know, a couple years. So, I only recently just kind of got back into it. But yeah, so, give it a try. There's no right or wrong answer, but do keep in mind that even if those of you that have played it, it may not necessarily, you may like it. Some of you may like it, but some of you might feel the way I do. It's like, yeah, I like it, but it doesn't quite fit. Like I said, it kind of goes both ways in a sort of way. You know, people have their own ideas. Now do I think that dog meat? Yeah, I do think dog meat should have been an exception as far as a companion from the get go. I think dog meat should have been a thing that just comes with you by default. Like you don't really have to like there should be a perk for the dog, but I don't know. But unfortunately, though, everything in this game, even including a dog, is counted as a companion. Unfortunately, that's what Bethesda decided. I'm not the person who made it, so you guys know how that is. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just But that's basically what I want to say about it. I think it's pretty cool. I gave her this different outfit. Now, if you want to be honest, don't use any body mods with this particular one. Not saying you can, but, I'm not really the biggest. I mean, I know there are different things out there. I just gave her what I use. If you want something that's a little nicer than the base default, I would say just get the standard EVB. What does EVB stand for? EVB stands for Enhanced Vanilla Body. Okay. Now, it's basically the same thing. It really is just basically that. I'll come down. The screenshot doesn't really the screenshot doesn't really do the game part justice, because you see the male in the picture and that's from the PC version. I'm surprised Bethesda kind of allowed that mesh to be there. I don't really know. But I used it with the guy as well, and you don't really see that. It doesn't really print like that. Maybe on the PC side it does, but not on the console, so you're safe. But basically, it just uses the default. But it's an enhanced vanilla body, basically, by some other person. It's not CBBE though. So those of you guys that like the Kirby stuff, unfortunately, it doesn't have that. So. But it's closer to vanilla, though. I'm fine with it because I can care less that much anyway. I've had so many problems with body mods, trying different things. And as much as some people like CBBE, what in the world? Oh, if you guys are wondering what I'm doing this on, yeah, because it's during this time that I'm recording this now. It's kind of during the late hours. And I'm on my phone, so I just didn't feel like getting on the computer, so I just kind of decided to make a quick video. So I had to use the remote to basically set this up, which is a little different than you might be used to how people normally record, but that doesn't really make a difference. You guys, as long as the point gets across, you guys get it right. So, but I'm just more of a lore-friendly type person. That's just the way I am. I'm not saying that you guys have to do that. But to be quite honest, guys, I've played around with CBBE many times, and I'm really not that impressed with it. I mean, unless you get the Kirby, that is the only one I notice on the console side that does show a little more than the default. But unfortunately, you get some clipping once in a while. Knees get a little bit disjointed, and then there's some really odd things that kind of go on here and there. Now it is more compatible with a lot of outfits out there. Yeah, unfortunately, not too many people make outfits, but well, I can't say that there aren't. There are outfits that are more closer to EVP and vanilla, default, but it's few and far between. I get it though, but all the thoughts that I'm showing you right here, everything that I'm showing you from this, let's see what else do I have. That's pretty. I have the proto vault suit retexture. I have black vault suits. I have some more black. I have some other stuff that I use. I can use this body. Okay, I can. Can you use? Yes, you can use this pretty much with any kind of. You can even use that on the default. It really doesn't make a difference. I'm not going to keep it because I'm only showing it just this one time because a lot of people want to show it off, and why not? I think it's overrated, to be honest. It's got a 4.5, almost a 5-star rating for it. But unfortunately, if you get it, unfortunately, the guys also get it as well. And I'm not really a fan of that. So I don't really want to see the guy's ass, that much. I'm just saying. But even after a while, I mean, unless you're really a person that's really a thirsty person all the time, it's really not worth having because the body on its own is already pretty good and I don't necessarily need it that much. So yeah, I use all these. That's pretty much it. I mean, the cooler looking stuff out there, it is what it is. There's a lot of outfits that are made for CBBE, but like I said, some I like, but there's a lot of different things that I didn't really care for that I would have liked, and I don't really miss it that much anyway. And when it comes to most games, even Skyrim, I'm the same way. I tend to stay more lore friendly than I deviate from, I don't know, what most people kind of put out there. But that's just me. I might look at a few things or try a few things out, but most of the time I still usually try to stay close as I can to what the game kind of presents. That's just how I am, but yeah. So other than that, yeah, give it a try if you like it, thumbs up for Nora, and all that kind of stuff. So other than that, guys, so with that, have a good one.